Okay, hello everybody and welcome back. So I'm going to talk about how this new auto top off system works. And the last video showed you kind of the inside of it. Couple things of note. One, I had to move the real-time clock module outside of the actual unit. For whatever reason, during testing, when I had the unit separated, it worked fine. However, when I put the real-time clock inside of the box and closed it all up, it would work, but it wouldn't trip on the relay. So I don't know if there was too much interference or what. So my first thought was, well, I'll just get rid of the real-time clock and just run it without it. So I took the real-time clock off, modified the code to eliminate the real-time clock. It worked fine. It's very odd. So I really like the real-time clock feature, only for the fact of you have your auto top off in, and you're going to do a water change, and you forget about it. I don't want that thing to just constantly pumping in fresh water, and you're just going to shock your system. So I really like the real-time clock feature. It only allows to run once an hour, and at the most, like I said before, if the auto top off runs at 3:59 and then again at 4 o'clock, you're only going to get 2 times in that hour window. So I really like that feature. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about how it works. Once you plug it in, remember I'm using the millisys delay to read the status of the auto top off float. There's actually 3 floats in the system. There's a high saltwater float and a low saltwater float, and that's the one that actually turns the pump on and off. And then there's a freshwater float, and so when the system gets low on freshwater, it just won't run the pump. Okay, so as you can see now, the LED, it says level, too high, pump on, low, and fresh low. So when everything is okay, ideally the green LED is going to be on, and it's going to say, hey, perfect, I'm good to go. And by this little circuit tester, you see there's no power. Now, if I take, and on my USB cable here, I have red as power, black as ground, and then white and green. And one is the saltwater float switch for low, and one is for high. So I believe the green is the high. So if I touch green to red and simulate that it's high, you can see I have this routine which I call trouble, and it blinks the LEDs in a pattern. Now, I have it like this so that if I just happen to glance at it, I'll know, hey, something's wrong, I need to look at the system. Instead of, once you get used to an LED always being on, you're never going to look at it, kind of after the fact. So it'll blink these LEDs on and off, and I know, hey, something's wrong. Okay, so if I take that off, it'll go back to the level. Now remember, I said it's under millis, so it only pulls that saltwater float switch every 10 seconds, every 10 milliseconds. Or I have it actually 10,000 milliseconds, but it's under the millis, not the delay feature. So once it gets that, it gets me the level. So now if I touch the red to white and simulate, hey, that the system is actually low, I've evaporated salt water. Remember what I said, it's going to take about 10 seconds. So I have them connected here, and then you'll get the low light will come on, and then the pump on LED, and you'll see power to the relay. Alright, so there it is. So there's power to the relays, which is in theory running the pump. I have low, and then I have the pump on. So I'll take that away because now it's going to run it for at least 10 seconds. And it'll kick it on. It's running the pump. Hey, everything's good now. Now one thing I did do, let me just unplug the unit and reset it. Because remember, I can't actually now run the pump again because it's set from the real-time clock. So I'll plug it back in, and one thing I wanted to show you is, if I wait for the level LED, if the saltwater float switch says, hey, I need water, and then all of a sudden it doesn't need water, it'll stop in the middle. And that's one thing that I like about the millis code, is it'll default to back off. With delay, it wouldn't do that. It was running all the time, period. Alright, so we'll run it. And once it kicks on, I'll let go of it and ground it. Okay, so it's on. So now if I ground it, as you can see, it went right off. It didn't wait the whole 10 seconds. So now it's going to simulate, hey, there's way too much water and I need to turn off. So if something happens and the unit kicks on by mistake, it'll still catch that and it won't overfill your system. So what I really like about that is if you stick your hand in the sump and you want to clean it, and you go to clean the float switch, it won't just be pumping water in there. As soon as it sees that there's too much water, it will automatically kick right back off. So that's just kind of a nice little feature that I really like about the Millis code. And you can see the LED does come back on. Now, one thing to remember, if you kick it off in the middle of that, it's going to run that 10 seconds, and then it's going to take another 10 seconds to re-pull that float switch. So it's actually going to take 20 seconds before that green LED comes back on. And then the same with the, if I go ahead and stick it, and the way I have it delineated, the bottom is for salt, and I use a black USB cable, and then white is for the top, and that's what I use for the fresh. So I'll plug it in to the fresh, and then if I touch red to white, it does the same kind of like trouble routine of back and forth. And then it ends up with the fresh, so I'll know, based upon looking at it, because it always flashes these two LEDs. I'll look at it, I'll know, okay, it's the fresh water, or I'll know it's too high. So I hope this is helpful, and hey, guys, thanks for watching.